Yo, what's up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast coming at you with the weekly live stream with my man.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, Cricket?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good NFL slate this week. Made a little money. I'm all right with it. We know how hard it is to do it 2 weeks in a row, though, so we're going to see if we can go back to back on them.
Oh, that's good, man. You know, when it comes to gambling, brother, when you can stay positive back-to-back week, man, that's a good upside
Man,
and
what you
momentum creation, right? For the upcoming weeks when the
that,
slate gets really bad.
that's the key. I think sometimes we just got to keep a positive mindset, man. Sometimes this stuff can be awfully demoralizing, so we just got to know there's brighter days ahead sometimes.
You know, that's true. That's absolutely true and 100%, man. Like anything else, just like last week, we got to hit as many of the top storylines and this week's slates, man. NFL week 3, loser of the week. I mean, we're going to hit a couple of things. We're going to even throw a little baseball in there. We'll surprise them there at the end. My top 10 NFL power rankings. I tweeted out earlier. I got some good feedback on. I want to see what you think about them. Anyway, I might have jinxed somebody last week, but we'll leave that for when we get to that particular team, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
And you know where it's shining as bright as shit? Down here in South Florida. Not because it's South Florida and it's sunny, but those damn Dolphins, brother, they lit up the damn sky. And it wasn't even nighttime against the damn Broncos, bro. Talk about an ass whooping. Whoa, man. I don't think I've ever witnessed anything like that as in my fanhood. And I'm not a Dolphins fan, but like we watch, I try to remember when the hell the last time my team put 70 points. I don't think it's ever been done, right?
I think every one of those players ought to have. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't remember a time I ever seen 70 points in an NFL game. But I think the Broncos players should have to donate every single one of their game checks to charity from last week, man. Because them boys should have stayed in the mountains. That was an old school ass whooping from the word go. I can't believe that, man. 70 points in an NFL game. Broncos ought to be ashamed of themselves, man.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people, when you come playing the Dolphins in this time of year, right? You know you got to battle the elements. You're coming from Mile High
Oh yeah,
and Colorado. The Dolphins have a nice and cozy whatchamacallit, little area where it's shaded because that stadium. I've been to that stadium, bro. It is hot as hell. All right, it is really really hot. And then
oh,
you
I
see
bet.
like the other side, the sun just beats in hard. Oh, sorry about that. The sun just beats in really really hard on the opposing team. And I'm not saying that was the reason they put up 70 points, but it had probably a little bit to do with it. You know what I mean?
It
I
certainly
think
don't hurt.
it really don't hurt at all. Um, but man, was it me or that Denver team quit at halftime?
Oh, bro. I don't know, man. There's a lot of problems out there in Denver. They're sitting here. They thought they had their savior coming in Sean Payton. Russell Wilson
Mm,
still. I mean, Russell Wilson's not playing terrible, but he's not doing
no,
any earth changing stuff.
no.
And this team, there's all kinds of internal problems here. And I don't know what they got to do something right there. They lucked up. They're going to get to play. I think it's the battle for the number 1 overall pick this week when they play the Chicago Bears, man.
That's crazy, man. I mean, talk about some this is record setting, of course. I mean, I was looking at this, right? They put up 70 points, the most since 1966 in any NFL game, right? Tua had 4 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns, 4, than incompletions, which it was 3.
Bro,
We
the
we all
running
know
back.
what Raheem Mostert and freaking Achney. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Achney, whatever his name is. I know his name is like 255 freaking all-purpose yards, pretty much right now. You
Bro,
know?
they scored 8 touchdowns together. They scored over 100 fantasy points in just Dolphins running backs.
Oh my gosh.
It blew my mind, man. I was like, what are you doing down there? Look at that consistency by the Dolphins, too, though. 14 in the first, 21 in the second, 14 in the third, 21 in the fourth.
Yep.
Just consistent model right there. That's just an old school ass whooping, man.
I mean, it is crazy, man. I mean, think about the stats, right? I mean, let's go. I mean, and the Tariq Hill monster game, but I think the story here were the 2 running backs, right? And I'm not even going to touch. I don't want to beat a dead horse because I think it's been covered over and over again. But 203 yards, all right, on the ground for Acme, 2 touchdowns, like you mentioned, 18 carries. Then he goes Raheem Mostert, right? 13 carries, 82. Because this Dolphins running back community here, it's going to be running back by committee, pretty much. Who's
Yeah.
gonna step up week after week, right? And it's
Yeah.
nice. That's why they drafted Ashney. But this week, both guys ate so much, man, that they might have a hangover next week. You know what I mean? It's
I,
insane.
I, I'm looking at, and that's the way Vegas is looking at them. I mean, they're
Mhm,
going to Buffalo, and I know Buffalo's Buffalo. They had a
mhm.
good game this week against the Commanders. We'll get into that in a little bit. But they got to travel up there, but they're getting 2.5 points. If you can find it at 3, I think you jump all over the Dolphins right there. I don't know, though. It feels funny to me,
Yeah,
man. It feels like one of those where I'm like, I'm supposed to take the Bills because they're going to come out and just wax them or something.
that's what I'm worried about, right? It's one of those things that, man, they're the darlings right now. I mean, absolutely. I think we said this last week, and I cover this also on my Cigars and Sports edition this week with my man Jim right here, who went ahead and hit the comments. Dolphins laid the smackdown on the Broncos candy asses. I know the damn Broncos were smelling what the fucking Dolphins were cooking, and it was
That's
and it was a stew of ass whooping, really really bad in this particular game, brother. So, oh
That's right.
man, but usually when you see that hangover, there's always a hangover about these big games. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And Buffalo, last two games, they had their struggles against the Jets in game one. They look really, really sharp. Remember, we're talking about them and the Commanders. Not to jump ahead, but dude, they absolutely show the Commanders who they really are and who the real teams are. And but
Yeah, man. We look back, and I think we all put a lot of stock in that loss to the Jets in week one, but we forget
yep,
how weird that game was. Aaron Rodgers going down. We talked about before how it looked like the Bills kind of had the wind taken out of their sails in that game too. That's just a weird game. So I don't think we can put a whole lot into that at this point. After what we've seen out, I mean, we've seen them win 38-10 and 37-3 in the 2 weeks following that. So they're playing
yep.
pretty good football right now.
Yeah, you want?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were saying. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think this is a spot where, I want to take the Dolphins. It feels like just too easy to take the Dolphins getting the points right there. I think this is a spot where I got to be on the Bills in this thing just because you said we talk about how hard it is to win back-to-back weeks in gambling. It's hard to replicate that playing in the NFL as well, man. It's probably harder to do that than it is to win gambling. So, I don't know. You got to travel on the road, division game. It just smells like a funny spot. I don't see any reason why after a team hangs 70, they should be getting points the next week.
It is. I mean, here's another crazy thing, right? Another crazy stat, right? That this game, because this game had a bunch of memorable different stats, right? But the one that kind of takes me back a little more than the other ones are, apart from the 70 points and anything else, right? They score 70 points, right? There's teams in the first 3 games that do not have 70 points combined. Broncos 69, Vikings 69, Texans 66, and the Texans have been lighting it up. CJ Stroud has been coming out on fire. Commanders 58, the Jags all of a sudden have gone out to lunch. 57, the Falcons 55, the Saints 66, Patriots 52. Of course, the Titans 45, and my Giants who suck 43. Can't believe we only have one more point than the Jets. But yeah, it's nuts, man. That's a lot of teams.
I bet half the league hadn't scored 70 yet.
Yep, combined up to week 3. This is everything up to week 3. I'm like, what the hell, man? That's crazy. What a game. And I'm with you, brother. I think I'm going to go on the Bills next week. It's one of those things that you want to go contrarian on because if it just feels too right, and when it feels too right in gambling, it usually means go the other way. In my book, I don't know.
That's me. I'm with you. It just feels too much like a sure thing to me. And we all know there's no such thing as a sure thing when it comes to sports betting. And for me, there's just no reason the team should hang 70 points on anybody in the NFL. I don't care if it's the worst team, the second worst. I don't care who it is. No NFL team should have 70 points hung on them. And there's no reason the team that did that should be getting points the next week. I don't care if it's on the road. I don't care if it's in division. It just smells funny. So I think I'm on the Bills on that one.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I'm with you too. Absolutely. But shout out to the Dolphins, man. AFC East is their division to lose. Up to 3 games.
Hey, they're worth the price of admission for sure, bro.
Oh, they do. I mean, that offense it's the 3 games is clicking on all freaking cylinders and then some.
Yes, sir.
Talking about a team that actually went from rags to riches and was clicking pretty much on half of their cylinders were the Browns. And of course, when you play the Tennessee Titans, who are offensively challenged more than anybody else, you could look really, really good. And that's what the Browns did. They looked great, 27-3. I mean, we're not going to spend too much time on this because this game was so ugly that there's not a lot of talking points. I don't even know if I want to go over the stat line for the Titans, all right? Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 20 yards. What the hell happened there? I mean, it was just...
They did what we told them not to do, man.
Yeah.
Once again, they should fire the whole coaching staff. He didn't get 20 touches. Fire them all.
Fire them all, man. I mean, it was a great game by Amari Cooper, who 7 receptions, 116 yards, 1 total touchdown. That's his career high as a Browns regarding all around, a game. 24, I think, fantasy points led the Browns. And what's his name? Deshaun rebound pretty good in this game. 27 out of 33, 289. That's a much better completion percentage and 2 touchdowns. So Jerome Ford did not do a lot on the ground. Still had a touchdown. 80 had 2 touchdowns because he caught another one. So hey, Kareem Hunt joined the team.
You don't have to expect much out of your running backs when they play Titans. Titans got one of the best run defenses in the whole league. They're going to have that all year as long as they stay healthy. So you should probably bet against whatever running backs playing the Titans. You should probably bet the under on their rushing yards. That's what I did. I bet Jerome Ford's under the rushing yards. Still had a good fantasy day. Still got nearly 20 points in fantasy. But Deshaun bounced back, had a good game. Good to see him bounce back, have a good game. People all on his ass all last week and stuff after what he did with the Steelers. So good game for him. Good bounce back. Ryan Tannehill, man, they gotta get away from this. 13 for 25 right there.
Yep.
I mean,
That was bad.
150 something yard, very pedestrian stat line right there, man. Barely over 50% completion percentage.
Yeah.
They got to do something, right? That he is not the guy. What is that? 104 yards, not even
104 yards.
150. I don't know where I saw 150.
104 yards,
104 yards.
104 yards passing. It's really, really bad for Ryan Tannehill. I mean, he's not even freaking trying to make a play with his feet or anything like that because he's mobile too. But I mean, he just looks like he's going through the motions back there. You're
And
right.
it's like,
Maybe it's time for Mayonnaise Boy to take over the helm. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that he can do any worse.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get on an NFL roster and can do
Mhm.
worse than that. And you said this looks like a bad game plan, bad coaching. I hate to say it about Vrabel. I like Vrabel, but I'm just saying you got Ryan Tannehill barely throwing over 100 yards. You got Derrick Henry barely getting 11 carries. I mean, what do you expect was going to happen in that game?
Yeah, I mean, look, credit to the Broncos. They do have a great defense. I mean, that AFC North is going to be like, yeah, the Browns. Sorry, they're going to be all fucking banging each other all over the head between the Ravens and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, tough division.
So here, I'm going to put this on here because my boy Jim, he's a big Steelers fan. He's not a big fan of the Browns, man. And this is pretty funny. I mean, we bashed the Browns a lot before this weekend. So, yeah, he said the Browns can still kick rocks. Good game against a smoking a cigar, throwing bombs. Oh man. But if you want to laugh at he had a lot of good ones this past weekend. Check out our last episode on cigars and sports.
I will. I go back. I did save it. I bookmarked that thing. I need to go back and watch it. I've been busy this weekend, but yeah, I do want to go back and check that out, man.
You're gonna catch. Jim actually went really ham on these guys. They never disappoints when it comes to the Browns. You know who didn't disappoint, man? The damn Buffalo Bills bringing the Commanders, man, down to down to earth, man. All right, 37-3. It was just a complete ass kicking. Look, Josh didn't have to do much because the Commanders did not do anything. And and Sam Howell, look, 4 picks. That's pretty bad. You know what I mean?
That's hard to do, man. That's rough.
Brian Robinson, I mean, finally came down. This is the Brian Robinson from last year. Even though 7 yards a carry is not bad.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. That just sounds like they were in a tough spot all day long. Probably didn't get a lot of offensive possessions. Didn't sustain any drives. Obviously, Sam Howell. I mean, that's not terrible there, other than the 4 picks. I mean, that's obviously garbage. But I mean, Josh Allen didn't have a great game. That's what I was looking at. I was like, where'd all the points come from in this game, man? I was trying to figure it out because Dawson Knox laid an egg for me. James Cook had a good game on the ground, but didn't get in the end zone. I don't know why they can't get that guy in the end zone.
I know, man. Like
he'd be a fantasy monster if they put him in the end zone.
He's on the freaking cusp, man. He should be able to. I mean, because he's had some really good games the last couple of games. Like you get the game plan. They're gonna run the football as much as they can to kind of help Allen out a little bit. Allen still threw a pick, which I forget. I forget which play it was. But again, it was one of those things that we know what the Commanders are. They were 2-0 in my book. They were one of the ones that they're 2-0 because they're just 2-0 because of the schedule or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But they made a real good team. I think the Bills, everybody's sleeping, like you said, on the Bills because of week 1. And let me tell you something, don't sleep on the Bills. I know it's a Dolphins division to lose, but man, you gotta still put some respect. They're a dangerous team. And this weekend, we will see how real they are against the best offense in the NFL.
And they're gonna be ready to go this weekend. You ain't gonna see no lulls or no layovers or none of that stuff. It's not like they're gonna be geared up, ready to go for this game. Division game at home against the team that everybody's talking about. It's kind of like Oregon and Colorado last weekend in college football. That team everybody's talking about and chirping. Those guys hearing that stuff too, man. They're gonna be geared up, ready to go on Sunday. So I do. The more I look at it, the more I like the Bills in this thing.
Yeah, I like it too. I have, they're definitely on my notes. Which to look at also because, and of course, I think it's, I forget how, I don't know, what are the points on this yet? Did they put the points out, the over under yet? It has to be probably like maybe
let me see.
high
Yeah,
40s.
It's out. Let's see where we got
high 40s, low 50s, probably
53.5.
How many? 53 and a half?
Yeah, 53 and a half. Way up there.
They could look. Miami doesn't have great defense. Their defense is their offense, so I think they could compete putting up points. I think that I'm picking. I think right now I'm on the over on this one.
Man, I've lost like 11 straight totals, so I don't know that I'm going to touch totals at all this weekend. I think I'm going to avoid those like the plague.
I should follow your lead because my totals they kicked my ass. They were the reasons why I lost like two parlays out of like the 8 that I played. So
I went 9-8-2 in college football, and 5 of the games I lost were my 5 totals that I picked. So I swore off them on Sunday in NFL, and I did pretty good.
Let me tell you something. You know who's not winning any totals right now? The damn Texans, bro. All right, freaking CJ Stroud looks the part. He looks the part. The last couple games, this individual here has lit up the world on fire with his arm. It's pretty darn good, man. He has 906 yards passing in the first 3 NFL starts, right? That's the third highest, right behind, any player that had over 900 yards, right behind Cam Newton, who had over 1,000 in 2011, and Justin Herbert had 931 when he was a rookie in
Yeah.
2021. So he is one of those guys. I mean, he looks the part. He looks the part. We knew that game one was a little shaky, but he's played against some really good teams, and he's thrown the football really well. I mean, I like him. I like him. I
He
like him.
he is he's turned a lot of those Texans receivers into like we said last week, that
Brother.
fantasy treasure trove that they are. And I tell you, we talk about CJ Stroud. I know he's playing great. Looks the
Mhm,
best of the rookie quarterbacks right now. I know Anthony
mhm.
Richards has been out for a couple of weeks. We were
Yep,
impressed with him early on. So I'm ready for him to get back so we can see some more from him.
yep.
But CJ Stroud's very impressive right now. But I'll
Mhm,
tell you a guy to me that is equally as impressive is Will Anderson Jr., man. Everybody tried to give them flack for trading
mhm,
back up and getting that third overall pick and using it on him.
mhm.
Will Anderson Jr.
Yep,
had the quarterback talent not been so high in this draft, Will
yep.
Anderson Jr. would have gone number one overall in a lot of drafts. If you look at the past and stuff like that, Will Anderson Jr. is a game breaker.
Yep.
He's going to be a player in this league for over a decade, and I love what they've done. They've got their guy on offense, they've got their
Mhm.
guy on defense, and D'Amico Ryans is a great head coach, a great motivator. His players are playing hard for him. I like what the Texans are doing, man. I really do.
And Tank Dell, man, second consecutive week,
Yeah,
really, really good. I mean, this one he broke. This is a breakout game. I don't know if he's going to have a game as good as this, but he really looked good, and he's been looking good. And he's shown signs, like in the preseason with some great catches. The last week had a good game, and this week he just completely broke out. Rookie to rookie, man. Usually, rookie quarterbacks feel comfortable with other rookie, wide receivers and running backs in the same
yeah.
lineup. So you can see the chemistry.
Yeah, and you look at that's why you got to kind of be careful with some of these
Mhm.
receivers for fantasy with Houston, man, because it's going to be kind of like Jacksonville,
Yep.
where it's going to be feast or famine on these guys each week and week in and week out. You got three guys in Tank Dell, you got Nico Collins, and
Mhm.
you got Robert Woods down there too. Dalton Schultz at tight end. Damian Pierce is going to get his at running back. So, I mean, there are a lot of mouths to feed down there. He's
Yep.
doing a good job distributing the ball and spreading it around, but it's going to kind of be a gamble for you each week, I think, on any of those receivers. But if you pick the right one, they're going to take off for you.
Yep. I mean, I think right now, target wise, definitely Nico 1, Tank Dell number 2. And I mean, it's just crazy because they all get targets like crazy. Look at Robert Woods with 6. All right. Nico last week, I guess they really focused on him defensively because he's the guy. He's been the guy
Yeah.
for that squad. He's been the number 1 wide receiver until last week. And then Tank Dell, man, he's one thing about Stroud that I noticed, he recognized the mismatches and he recognized where he could take an edge, and
Yeah.
grab an edge from a standpoint of a quarterback. He's playing so great that he's picking your poison kind of guy, man. If it's not Nico this week, it's going to be Tank Dell next week, and not maybe Woods, like you said.
Well, very, very smart guy that throws the ball well and
Yeah.
taking what the defense gives him. Not trying to do too much. A lot of these rookies come in and think they got to be the guy. They're the face of the franchise now, and they try to do too much early on bad teams and wind up hurting their confidence and stuff. CJ Stroud not trying to do that. Trying to do exactly what he's asked to do, not turn the ball over. Just get out there, take what the defense gives him, hit the open receivers. He got a lot of weapons he can throw to. He's doing it the right way, man. They're bringing him along the right way. The guy's slowly gaining confidence week in, week out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think you give him time to throw, and he's dangerous back there.
Yeah, for sure, man.
To 3 games, the Texans made the right pick.
And and as good as we've talked about the Texans now, what's wrong with the Jaguars? What
Oh
are
my
they doing?
God. It's like the complete opposite. It's like you're in the twilight zone over here, man. You know what I'm saying, dude? Trevor Lawrence has been fucking stinking it up, man. What's up with that?
I don't know what's going on here. This is a team that came into this season with a lot of high expectations, the
Mhm.
favorites to win that
Mhm.
AFC South division, which is we thought was going to be kind of a trash division. Man, it might be a pretty exciting race
Yep.
at this point. But the Jaguars, I know they got to go to London next week. I think they're about to do 2 back-to-back games in London
Yep.
or something like that. They're going to be over there for a little while. So maybe I don't know, they're looking ahead of that. Maybe they're expecting to beat the Texans, being almost 10-point favorites in this thing. Maybe they're just kind of I hate to use the excuse to look ahead in the NFL because
Mhm.
I don't think you should ever be looking ahead in the NFL. These guys are all professionals, and you can get beat by anybody on any given day. Hence the Cowboys and Cardinals, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But I don't like the look away or look ahead excuse in the NFL. I understand it in college, but something happened here, man, and they're just I don't know in their own heads or something. But they didn't play good football.
Yeah,
2
it
weeks in a
is.
row.
You're completely right. I mean, look at it. If you look at all the offensive categories, I mean, the Jags, edged them in total yards. Passing yards, Jags had a little more. Again, rushing yards, Jacksonville, of course. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't know what's going on here. I know they're turning the ball over, right, with some interceptions or fumbles. And look, at one point you got to point to the best player in the team. And at this point, I know all of it is not Lawrence's fault, but dude, he's the captain of that ship. finger's got to get pointed first because he's turned the ball over, I think, in every single game so far this season.
There's a reason the quarterback is the highest paid position on the field.
That's
you got to
right.
take the good with the bad, man. And if your team's playing like this, struggling, it's not, I understand the defense may be struggling too, but they only gave up 17 points last week to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing looks like it's pretty bad, but you scored 9 points last week and 17 this week.
Yep.
You're not playing good offensively, and to be supposed to be one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league or looking to work that way, top half anyway. You're supposed to be doing more than this, man, to help your team win. And it just doesn't look good for the Jaguars right now for me.
Nope. They should be 2-1. All right. They beat a Colts team, first rookie quarterback's first game of the year, and it was a close game. It wasn't that far off.
They could have lost that game.
They could have lost that game too. They could have been 0-3. But they should have won this one, and this is a complete shellacking. I mean, they should have won this one. And last week, I'll give them Chiefs loss, but it's unacceptable for a team this talented and with as many with as many weapons to be 1-2 in a division that it is theirs to lose starting the year. And right now, they're freaking losing it and giving it away.
And it's kind of weird. We don't normally see this out of Doug Peterson coach teams, man.
Nope.
So I don't know what's going on down there. Maybe they can right the ship. I think I'm going to be on them this week, playing the Falcons over there. I look for them to bounce back. A couple tough weeks in a row offensively. Should be focused. Should be ready to go. The Falcons, young quarterback Desmond Ridder going to be his first time going overseas and playing and all that stuff. So I think I like the Jaguars minus the field goal right here. But it's one of those you better be careful with, man, because they don't look great right now. But I think I keep expecting the bounce back. But if they lay an egg again, I think I'm just going to be on the bus that the Jaguars aren't a very good football team.
Yeah, they're giving it away. They're choking right now, and they're giving it away. Yeah, yep. you know who's not giving it away? Jordan Love, brother.
Man,
I mean, talk about and look. Forget about the numbers, right? Forget about how ugly the game was. What he showed is that this dude has taken leadership of this team, and that win, as tough as it was, he didn't play great. They were down 17-0. It was ugly, but in the fourth quarter, the man did what he needed to do in order to win. Whether he knew he wasn't getting anything. He threw a pick that was like, what the hell did you do that for? He was overthrowing guys throughout the game. He was not accurate at all. He was like the Jordan Love. Where did the Jordan Love come from, right? He wasn't the same one from the beginning, from the previous two games. But he played tough enough to bring his team back because that was on his freaking back. He rushed for a touchdown, threw another clutch touchdown. I mean, they did. It was all him. He really put this team on his back and kind of was like, for an ugly game, these are the games that you're supposed to win, regardless of what happened to, the starting quarterback for the Saints and, Derek Carr, which he went out with a shoulder injury. But they did what they needed to do to come back. And a win is a win, and that's a tough win that kind of shows you what kind of caliber and what pedigree the Green Bay Packers have in Jordan Love.
I like Jordan Love, man. People forget, this is their first home game of the year. They were on the road at Chicago in week 1, on the road in Atlanta in week 2. So this is the kind of the first home game of the Jordan Love regime, of the Jordan Love era, since Aaron Rodgers has moved on. So maybe he had some jitters. Maybe he felt like he had some things he had to try to prove out there. He heard people chirping all week long too, but he had been one of the best quarterbacks in the league through the first 2 weeks. He did what he had to do. Show me he's a competitor. Show me he's a leader. Show me he doesn't let in the spot. He's the kind of guy that I want leading my troops, because in football, everybody knows how football's such a roller coaster ride. Throughout the course of a game and a season and things like that, you're going to have ups and downs. And you got these guys like this that can get smacked in the mouth and kind of keep coming back, keep fighting, keep digging, and they get it done in the end right here. This is a big-time win after being down 17-0. The Saints let one slip away right here, and I think this is one the Saints are going to look back and kind of kick themselves for when it's all said and done.
And I'm going to tell you something. Derek Carr was having the best game of his short career as a Saint, right? He was 13 for 18. He threw for a touchdown finally. You know what I mean? He was moving the ball well. They were running the ball now with whoever running back they had available, because everybody's hurt. And Kamara's coming back, so that's gonna be great. Yep. I mean, Chris Olave is still just catching 100-yard games like it's running out of style.
You guys a stud.
Yeah, man. Michael Thomas is finally, dude, he's over 5 receptions, in all 5 games or something like that. I mean,
I love Michael Thomas.
He's playing tough again. Jimmy Graham sighting, caught a touchdown. It's like, there was a lot of things going on then, and they look good, 17-7. But I guess Derek Carr going out was a huge factor, because Jameis Winston wasn't able to get into the end zone. But at the end of the day, man, it's just the game again. It's a symbolic game for Jordan Love to show these Packers fans that, hey, that era of Aaron Rodgers is over. Welcome to the Jordan Love era. This is what I'm going to give you week after week. It's going to be toughness, and I'm going to play my ass off to make sure we win.
Yeah, man. I don't know how, if you're a Packers fan, you got to be happy with your guy right there. I don't know how these guys keep printing. Like, I know it's a little early to say if Jordan Love's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but They have been set at the quarterback position for about 3 decades now, and they continue to do it. And Jordan Love doesn't look like he's going to be that much of a drop off.
That's true. That's true. And talking about a drop off, man, this is next game, which I don't know what else to talk about. This game, I wish I want to skip it probably next week if the Jets are involved in anything else. I want to skip that because it's just ugly. Yeah, I mean, 15-10. This. Oh my God,
Oh,
this is
my.
bad from both sides. Shout out to Bill Belichick at his first win of the year. Mac Jones, just back to the Mac Jones that we all love, right? Just really bad completion percentage. I know the Jets have a good defense. Zeke was a bright spot here. They ran the ball well. That was pretty much it. And their defense was really, really good. Boom. Let's get back to basics here. And Zach Wilson, bro, we know he hasn't been it. And we know he's not it. So
he's not it, man. And Bill Belichick, he knows who his team is.
Yep.
He knows he's going to win games with defense, and he got to get just enough out of Mac Jones. Got to make sure Mac Jones don't turn the ball over. Utilize that run game a little bit. That defense is going to keep them in games, man. They only allowed 24 to that Dolphins team the week before.
Yep.
The Broncos just allowed 70 to. So the Patriots are all right, man. They know who they are. They know their identity. They're much like the Steelers. They know that they're going to win games defensively. They're not going to ask too much out of their offense. Not trying to get in too big a hole. And the Jets got all kind of problems. You see where Joe Namath came out and just threw all kind of shade at Zach Wilson. He's done with it.
He's over Zach Wilson, bro. And at one point, I think they had like a total of like 39 yards overall in offense by the third quarter or something. It was ugly.
A couple phantom sacks. Man, Will posted something the other day. He's like Manti Te'o's girlfriend sacked Zach Wilson on one play. You see him running around by there. He just falls down. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, this guy is just not the guy. I don't understand the evaluation that I was kind of pulling for the guy because he was under the radar, but I never understood the top 5 evaluation that he got in the first place. Coming out of BYU, he was a great player at BYU, but just not. I never expected him to be a legit NFL quarterback. We talked about not being big enough and all these different things. He just doesn't look the part to me. And I don't think he's ever going to look the part. And if the Jets don't want this to be a lost season, they got to get in the quarterback market, try to trade for somebody, try to do something, man.
They got Trevor Siemian signing up today. Trevor Siemian is on board. I mean, I don't know what's worse, him or Zach Wilson. But
it's hard to say. I was like, I guess I don't know. Pick your poison. Let one play one half, one to rotate quarters or series or something. I don't know what you do, man.
I don't know, but throw the Wildcat in there with somebody else, some shit like that. Maybe it'll spark some offense. I don't know. They need to do something to fix this. Absolutely.
I was saying weeks ago they should try to trade for Jameis Winston, but he actually got a chance to play and didn't look very good either. So I don't know that he gives them a much better shot to win either.
You know what? But you know what? The Saints are not going to go with Jameis because they know Derek Carr is a little banged up. He's probably going to let him allow to take a couple of games off. So.
Yeah, they got him listed as week to week right now. So he's, and I think it was a non-throwing shoulder that got sprained, maybe. So
that's what it was.
He'll be fine.
They're being cautious, man. They're being cautious.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't blame them either. Remember that division is also very, very weak, and they could win that division, 9-8 or whatever the case may be.
And starting out 2-1 right there, they know they can allow for. They have a little room for error if Derek Carr's got to sit out a week or two, and they got to let Jameis take the reins. Jameis doesn't necessarily give them a spot. I mean, they play my Bucks next week, and we're notoriously terrible in New Orleans, so they get Kamara back. It's gonna be. I think the Saints are gonna be all right.
Yeah, I think Kamara's going to bring that next that other dimension where it's going to help the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? More than the quarterback's going to help him. So
you won't be able to just bum rush and take off after him because you got the screens with Kamara and stuff. If you get him in space, he can take it to the house at any time. So yeah, it definitely adds another layer to that offense.
Exactly. You know who had a nice little layered offense also was the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry, that was baseball. I mean, even though it wasn't like a really clean game, but they did what they were supposed to do to the Falcons. They roughed up a second-year quarterback that can't throw the football, and Desmond Ritter. Look, they shut down the running game, which is their bread and butter. They completely shut down Bijan and Tyler Algier. They didn't let them breathe, man. It was actually one of Detroit's better defensive game, and they did enough in offense to just make sure they win the game with having some injuries also. So this was like I picked this game in the points. It was, I mean the spread on this one because I knew Detroit was not gonna allow the Falcons to run wild.
Yeah, Detroit Lions a good football team, man.
Yep.
They're a good football team for sure. I like what I'm seeing out of them. They a good smash mouth football team. Play a lot like their head coach, a lot like his personality, man.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff is a good quarterback in the NFL. Period.
He's better. He's better than a game manager because he could also go off for big games.
I feel like he is a guy that really I don't mind handing Jared Goff the ball at the end of a game. I don't.
That's
There was
true.
a time I felt very differently about that, but he's got enough weapons around him. He doesn't turn the ball over. He had one pick in this game, but that's all right, man. He's still got a solid completion percentage there. They're giving you about that 65 to 70 mark right there. I like Jared Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs has got to get more involved in this
Yeah.
offense. I got to pump the brakes on him a little bit from a fantasy standpoint, just because I don't know if he's anything but a complimentary type back. I don't know that he can be a 3-down back, run between the tackles and stay healthy. I don't think the guy's big enough, man. I think you got to use him more as a complimentary type piece. And I think that's going to affect the volume and affect his fantasy value. I mean, I know he's averaging 4.71 yards a carry there, but that was because he busted a couple long ones late in that thing.
Yep.
Like he wound up, I mean, he was struggling really mightily before that and actually broke a couple decent runs toward the end of that thing to get that stat line looking a little bit better and get him over that 4-yard average there. But I don't know that he's an every down back, man. And I don't know that he's going to get the volume that he needs, especially when David Montgomery gets back, to be a fantasy superstar. Right now, this year is what I'm talking about. I know in years to come, he'll probably bulk up some. But right now, I don't know that he's can be that guy.
I mean, we shall see. It's early. I think David Montgomery, I don't know if he's going to be out in the next game. It depends. I mean, Atlanta also has really good run defense. They run the ball well, but also have really good run defense. So I think this was his best game. Not so much from a like an explosiveness part of it, but I think he showed some toughness, though, man. He hit some tough, short yard runs there, man, to get some defender.
He's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy. He's a banger. He's not a finesse kind of guy, just a finesse kind of guy because of athleticism. So they showed me something. And look, the Atlanta Falcons, man. Look, nice story, 2-0, but come on, man. Everybody knows what their game plan is. They're gonna run it and go short, dink and dunk with Bijan and Tyler Algier, and that's it. They got Drake London, who's great. Kyle Pitts, again, we don't know what's gonna happen with Kyle Pitts, but Desmond Ridder is not the guy. Put CJ Stroud on that team with those weapons, and you'll be seeing a different score.
Oh yeah. That makes CJ Stroud in that spot makes that team a lot better. Anthony Richardson in that spot makes that team a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
any other those two guys.
Yeah, and maybe I just expected so much more out of Jahmyr. Going back to him a little bit, maybe I expected him to come out and be averaging 25 fantasy points a game and stuff right off the rib. It takes a little time to adjust that speed of the game, all that stuff. But I think you're right. I'm just going to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not going to bench him or trade him or none of that stuff. But I want to see a little more out of him. And the Falcons there, like you said, good story, but Desmond Ridder's not the guy. Another team with a quarterback is just not the guy, and they're going to wind up. This team's good enough to keep them out of the lottery picks in the draft, or they can get one of those top tier quarterbacks. So I don't know what they're going to plan on doing there. Maybe trade some of that draft capital to get a veteran guy in there that like before this year when Derek Carr coming into the Saints, somebody like that can run the show. But I don't think Desmond Ridder, he's clearly not just playing terrible. He's not ever going to you don't want to hand that guy the ball at the end of the game, in my opinion.
No, they're letting him do what they're requesting to do is like, don't turn the ball over. We know you cannot throw it 50 times, right? And get, 250, 300 yards passing. They know you can't do that.
No.
They know he can't do that. So
that's why they drafted a running back 8th overall.
Exactly. When they already had a rookie running back that had 1,000 yards last year.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's their identity, man. And going back and not to beat a dead horse, but Jahmyr Gibbs, here's the deal. Everybody has got so caught up with Bijan. And then he was drafted like right after him, a couple of picks after in the first round. People think that, yes, you're going to get something similar to what Bijan is doing through the first two games. And it's not fair to Jahmyr Gibbs either.
They're different guys. They're different style guys. I mean, I know people want to compare them and be similar. They're not. They're different. They got different body types. They got different offenses. They're just different players. So, I mean, you may get similar production out of them both, but they're going to do it in different ways.
Talk about production, man. Freaking another shootout here that the Chargers are involved. And, of course, the Vikings, on the other hand, they're also involved in another shootout. I mean, what a thriller, man. I mean, just like every game the Chargers have been on, man, it's been like close games, go up front, come from behind, lose short. I mean, they finally get a win. I mean, shoot, man. And go ahead.
I think you got to bet the over on every Chargers game, right?
Absolutely. They've gone over in every game, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think the over in every single game. And listen, talking about going over, and to me, the best quarterback right now at the three games, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, has to be Justin Herbert. Look at his other performance: 40 for 47, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. All right, this guy through the first game, I mean, he's been on fire. He's just been on freaking fire.
And everybody's been giving him shit, man, because they're 0-2, and they're sitting there and they're saying, is Justin Herbert the guy? I'm like, you get rid of Justin Herbert, you deserve to go in QB hell for the rest of forever if you get rid of Justin Herbert.
Oh my gosh, you should. You should like get jinx, man, for the rest of your life. And what's crazy is that team hasn't turned the ball over to 2 games, and they're still winless before this week.
And that's why I'm so down on Brandon Staley, because he's supposed to be a
Yep.
defensive-minded head coach,
Yep.
and your offense is doing what they're supposed to do, man.
Yep.
They're getting out there giving you the points. They should have lost this game. They should
Yeah.
have got beat in this game. The Vikings blew
Absolutely.
this at the end, getting down there, completing that 4th and 5 to Hawkinson, and wound up getting there instead of spike the damn ball, man. They let 20. They're about just under 36, 37 seconds left. They let 20 or something seconds run off the clock right there, trying to get a play call in because the fans are so hyped. And I know that's kind of on the fans, but you got to expect that, man. You just completed a big 4th and 5 on a drive to win the game. The fans are going to be hyped right there. You should have probably already had a play called, but the way you prevent that, just spike the ball. Take your time. Then you'll have 40 seconds. You get everybody settled, get it together. You got a few plays right there from inside the 10-yard line or right outside the 10-yard line. You're in the red zone. So you got plenty of plays and plenty of time to make something happen. They get out to try to rush it, winds up getting tipped, getting picked. They lose the game. That's a coaching mistake. That's on Kirk Cousins too, because he can get up there and spike the ball. He's the one in control out there. They can call whatever they want on that headset, but he's the one in control. Spike the ball, man. Collect yourself, take your time, and get ready to score a touchdown and win the game. I didn't like what I saw to them at the end of the game. That was poor clock management.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You know who didn't manage the clock poorly? Keenan Allen, bro. 20 targets, 18 receptions, 215 yards, threw a 49-yard touchdown to, what was it, Mike Williams? He caught that pass from Keenan Allen. I think that's who it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
man. And shout out to Mike Williams, man.
I know,
Torn
man.
ACL, down for the year. I hate to see that. This guy's dealt with some injuries. I don't know if he's ever played a full season in the league. He's a freak athlete and a mismatched nightmare in a lot of spots. Was having a good game again the other day. Wound up tearing that ACL. They say he's going to be ready for training camp, so I don't think he just shredded everything, but still, he's going to be out for the season. I hate it for that guy. So shout out, good vibes, prayers, condolences, all that stuff, man. Pulling for him. Hope he gets back healthy.
Huge hit for the Chargers, of course. You know what I mean? They're trying to do something. They have right now the teams. You know, these guys are all. He's under a rookie contract, right? He hasn't blown up yet. Look, Josh Palmer is very capable to replace Mike Williams, but he's no Mike Williams, right? I think they're gonna have to make sure that Gerald Everett now gets a little more involved in the red zone. I think he probably will now. I mean, I actually went and I picked him up. He's one of my. I'm a guy that doesn't draft high on tight ends when I do my drafts.
Yeah,
but I just really recycle tight ends over and over again. I'm gonna try Gerald Everett this week. I know he disappointed me last week, but I think we might be able to get something out of him this week. I think Quentin Johnson, you drafted him for. He fell out of he was high regarded, right? Once we got drafted, but he fell out of love. And in the preseason, and hopefully maybe they'll start working him a little more. So
I think so. That's what I was going to say, man. That's a great point. I think he's a guy, especially in some of your deeper leagues. Yep. I think he's a guy. I don't know if you want to play him just now, but I'd stash him on my bench, try to see what he's going to do, what his involvement in this offense is going to be going forward, because he's going to get more targets. He's going to get more chances to catch the ball in the red zone. He's a big guy. He's a burner. He can go deep. So I think they're going to have to try to use him a little bit to kind of replace Mike Williams and the production they were getting out of him. So he's a guy you might want to stash and just kind of keep an eye on for a couple of weeks. But I hate it for him, man. I do hate it for Mike Williams. But yeah, Quentin Johnson is definitely a guy that you can keep an eye on, because I think he's going to become a lot more involved in this offense.
I think so too. And you know what? Eckler may not come back this week because I think they have a long week next week, if I'm not mistaken. So they might keep him out one more game. So you're probably going to see another barrage of targeting and passing in the next game as well. So I think that's another game to keep an eye out from a fantasy standpoint, right? I think Palmer might be a nice little flex of the week pick there. You know what I'm saying? If you're struggling with any wide receivers. Yep.
Yeah, daily fantasy. You keep an eye on Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer for daily fantasy, because there'll be some cheaper guys you get some value on, probably a low percentage being put in those lineups, and
on GPP.
It could be a contest winner for you if they go off.
Yeah, man. You never know, man. Those are the ones. Those are the garbage. That's the toilet water that gets you those damn championships in the middle makers.
Man, that's what it takes, man. In those things, you can't pick all the guys everybody else is, man. You got to find that diamond in the rough to get you over the top.
Oh, absolutely, man. But listen, again, Justin Herbert is a stud. I'm not going to go too much on Minnesota. We know we have Minnesota. They're 0-3. It may be time to not hit the panic button just yet, but start moving your hand towards it.
I'll say this: of all the 0-3 teams, this is the one I'm least worried about.
Exactly.
They got a good bounce back game going to Carolina. I think the Vikings are going to be okay. I think you're still going to be talking about them at the end of the season, being in the race in this division. I don't think anybody's going to run away with this division. It's going to be a tough, hard-hitting division all year long, except the Bears. They're going to be trash. But the other three teams are going to be in it week in, week out. Lions got a big game going at the Packers this week, but the Vikings, I think they're going to be okay, man. I really do. Of all the 0-3 teams, they're the one I'm worried about the least.
Yep, absolutely, man. And talking about worrying a little bit, not a lot, but Baltimore should have had this game. All right, they had a nice lead. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, kind of like let themselves get caught up here, man. It was a weird game. Really strange. I don't even have words for this. Lamar was having a decent game on and off, but look, Gardner Minshew, he's got a backup. He's gonna do what he does. He's tough. You know what I'm saying? He didn't turn the ball over. Zach Moss had a huge game on the ground. Geez, man, it was one of those games that it was like, what the hell's going on, man? I mean, they really won this crap on the foot of Matt Gay.
Yeah, bro. I mean, this is nasty weather game. So one of those, that's part of the reason why it was probably so weird. Lamar's got to take care of the football better, man.
He does.
He's putting himself in weird spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a weird fumble the other day. Like he was going to try to throw it and pump fake, slipped out of his hand. I know it was raining and all that stuff, but you got to protect the football better. You got a good defense. You got some weapons on offense. I know you don't have a really solidified guy, but you got Zay Flowers. They drafted a receiver in the first round for you. All that stuff. You got Mark Andrews. I know the running back is by committee and it's been a debacle up there for years now, but there's really no excuse for this for Baltimore playing a backup quarterback. I loved what Gardner Minshew did. Came and did exactly what they asked him to do. That guy is a great backup quarterback.
That's what he does, man.
I'm not. If I'm the New York Jets, I'm trying to go all. I mean, you wouldn't even have to give up that much to get Gardner Minshew.
Probably
I'm sorry,
not.
Gardner Minshew gives you like 10 times the chance to win that Zach Wilson does. And you probably get him for like a 6th round pick or something.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know why somebody's not on the phone in Indianapolis trying to get this guy in there. And he may not, with the, his early concussion troubles, and he may not be that apt to come off of him just yet because this guy is a great plug-and-play quarterback. Always does what they ask him to do. Doesn't turn the ball over. Gives his team a chance to win. I don't remember the last time I seen Gardner Minshew-led team just get blown out. And they go on the road, get a big-time win right here. And the Ravens don't. I mean, I know it's one game. You don't have to hit the panic or anything, but there's really no excuse for this. And it's going to be you're going to be in the AFC where it's a very tight division. And so I think this could be another one, much like the Saints, that they look back at the end of the year and say, "Damn, we let one slip away."
You don't want to fuck around with the Steelers defense, even the Browns defense, bro. Those are really tough defense. I think that those defenses are better than the Ravens defense.
And look what the Bengals did last night to the Rams.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, you don't want to do that. I mean, but Gardner Minshew, bro, the new age Fitzmagic. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I like that. That's a great analogy, man. I like that. He is the new age Fitzmagic.
Yeah, bro. He's gonna he's gonna have a long career. He's gonna play with like 13 teams, but they gotta keep picking this guy up, giving him the highest amount of money for a backup quarterback because they know what they got with this guy. He's gonna start somewhere again, like that. He's gonna be that kind of guy. You know what? Hey, we gotta draft a quarterback next year. That's him. He's the new age Fitzmagic because he does have that, that feel to him, right? Slinger, gunslinger. I'm gonna run it. Fucking, I'm cool as shit with my mustache and my long hair. F you. I'm gonna go in there and do whatever the hell I want. He's the new age Fitzmagic, bro.
I love Gardner Minshew too, man. And his story is so cool. He was pretty much done with football. He was going to go coach at Alabama with Nick Saban. Nick Saban was going to have him on as a coach, and Mike Leach wound up calling him. He had a 5th-year eligibility. Wound up talking him into coming up Washington State and playing. And everybody knows he threw for like 5,000 yards or something. Winds up getting drafted, man. So this guy was already out the game almost, and comes back and just like you said, new age Fitzmagic. I love that, man. I might have to steal that and start using it some because that's exactly what this guy is. He's going to have like 15 jerseys to hang up in his living room when it's all said and done.
Absolutely, but he's got to make a nice living because Fitzpatrick, man, he's made a nice living. Look, he's reaping the rewards, man, making commercials on the post.
He's killing it, bro.
He is living the dream, dude. I mean, how many backup quarterbacks can say they had the career that Fitzpatrick had and then be as notable as, as noticeable and as famous as he is? Everybody knows who he is, and this guy's not even a Hall of Famer. So
yeah, I don't know, man. He started for that many different teams. That in itself is impressive enough for me to give the man a gold jacket.
That's true. And then you know what? He went to Harvard, so go ahead and give him that shit to boot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the man ain't no dummy. That's for sure.
No, that's for sure.
I love Fitzpatrick, man. I really do. But yeah, big win by the Colts right here. People forget how good this Colts defense is. This is a great defense too. This is a top 10 defense in the league, and this defense is going to keep this team in games week in and week out. Period.
Hey, listen,
that's what it is. They're not going to have to get much out of the quarterback spot.
Yeah, this week you either live or die by the foot, and they live by the foot because Matt Gay, for the first time in NFL history, had 4 over 50-yard field goals made.
That's the first time in NFL history?
The first time in NFL history.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a gangster stat right there, man.
That's crazy. And they're not missing Jonathan Taylor right now because Zach Moss is making them forget after games like this.
Jonathan Taylor, I mean, and even when Jonathan Taylor comes back, people are like, does Zach Moss still have fantasy value when he comes back? Yes, I think he does. They gave that man 30 carries last week, man.
Yep.
He's not just going to lose all, and he's showing production. He's out there playing. They're like, Jim Irsay's sitting back kind of looking like a genius. He's like, I told you I didn't have to pay no running backs.
Absolutely. They're not like rushing towards like Jonathan Taylor, like, bro, come on, we're begging you, come back. You know what I mean? It's not like a Chris Jones scenario where they got to pay this guy to come back. Hey, we're going to game week 4. Our
Jonathan,
quarterback probably comes back next week, and if it doesn't, hey, we got to do more of the same with our backup and what we have.
Jonathan Taylor's sitting back now waiting on his phone to ring, man. They were calling him off the hook for a couple weeks there. Now Zach Moss has done showed up, and he's probably feeling all lonely over there sitting by himself in the corner at the dance.
I absolutely think so. I definitely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, man. You know what? Another not and this one I'm gonna enjoy. You know, somebody that should be sitting on the phone is the the offense of the Dallas Cowboys, man. Because
So I got a feeling I know where you're headed here.
how the hell? And let me just say this right away, man. At least as bad of a season we're heading down this rabbit hole with the Giants, at least we did not lose to the fucking Cardinals. All right. We came back and we won.
Easy on that though. The only defense they got is they beat you 40-0 when you played heads up.
Hey,
so
you know what? Hey, listen, bro. Listen, that might be the only thing I hang my hat on this year. It's we didn't lose to the fucking Cardinals. All right. That's fair. That's it.
I understand. That's a pretty good hook to hang your hat on, man. I don't know. And I said this on Wake and Rake Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this would be such a Cowboys thing to do. To come out the first 2 weeks, look great. Everybody talking about how great they are, best team in football, all this stuff. And to lose to the team that everybody is pretty widely considered the worst team in football. Well, before last week, they were the Bears. I think I'm pretty sure it is now. But
the Bears are now.
Bears or the Broncos, one of the two. But the Cardinals, we fully expect them to be bottom 5 of the league. And I said this would be such a Cowboys thing to do, be 2 touchdown favorites almost, and come in and just lay an egg and get beat by almost 2 touchdowns. Cowboys, this is inexcusable, man.
No,
this right here is inexcusable. I know they lost Trayvon Diggs to the ACL, but you can't tell me that man is worth basically 4 touchdowns.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, you're right.
You're right. You're right. I mean, he's a big hit because Trayvon is also a big leader in the locker room, right? He's one of those inspirational guys. People follow him. But that defense definitely it's gonna hurt the defense, but you just don't. I mean, what the hell, man? I mean, it's not like the Cardinals have have freaking CJ Stroud back there, a quarterback, as a rookie, slinging it like 50 freaking times. I mean, you got Josh Dobbs, who's serviceable.
My guy, Josh Dobbs, man, the former ball. I love Josh Dobbs, looking like an alien out there, man.
Oh my gosh, look at the second consecutive week in a row. He's running the ball well, making plays when he needs to, Not a lot. And look, this team is running the ball well. Look, James Conner got touchdown for the second consecutive week, almost at 900 yards. When healthy, James Conner has always been a really, really good back, and
man, solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Marquise Brown, again, another touchdown. I think that's back-to-back weeks, if I'm not mistaken, receiving. So it's this is like fucking game that cost me a real easy parlay, man. It was the only one in there. And I didn't even go for the point. I said, I'm gonna pick the money line because I'm gonna fill it. It's one of my fillers, right? I know this is gonna happen. So just raise that damn return by plus 100 or something like that and make it from 2200 to like 2300. You know what I mean? Just for like I got greedy. That's what happens.
It does. It usually does, man. Yeah, no, I was sitting back. I didn't touch this one. I knew it smelled funny. I was like,
yeah, shit.
I don't trust the Cowboys in a lot of these spots. I mean, I was looking at the fantasy app on ESPN the other day. You look at the picture of Josh Dobbs in there. He totally looks like that guy off the Goonies back in the day.
Yes, he does.
Like, hey, you guys. But I like Josh Dobbs though, man. He's playing well, doing what they ask him to do in that offense too. Not really turning the ball over. I mean, you look, the Cardinals could easily. This is weird to say. The Cardinals could be sitting here 3-0.
Yes,
they could have. They had a chance to win that game at Washington in week 1. They were up by 3 touchdowns on you guys in week 2 at home, and then they beat the Cowboys in week 3. Who would have thought the Cardinals had a chance in hell of starting out 3-0? I mean, I know
they've been competitive in all 3 games. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it is freaking crazy.
This might be a team I have to start telling a little bit because people are giving them way too many points. It looks like, man.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You're absolutely right. I mean, I was like, wow, man. I mean, I didn't think they were gonna. I didn't think it was gonna be a close game, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this backwards. And then what's nuts, right? I mean, again, no, look, that's Dak's first interception this year, right? Let's not go crazy with Dak's interceptions and stuff like that. That's the first one he's thrown. But dude, I don't see that. I want to take charge and confidence of Dak Prescott. I mean, look, Tony Pollard is beasting it. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. That's why you got rid of Zeke. This guy should have been the number one back 2 years ago. But you had Zeke on their contract. That's great and nice and dandy. But we ain't seen jack from anybody else. You know what I'm saying, dude? CeeDee Lamb, he had a good week the last week, but we haven't seen a lot, man. This offense looks a little bit off in my book.
I think it might be Dak, man. I'm still not sold on Dak.
I've never been sold on him.
And I just I know he had the big injury a couple years ago and everything, but I just have not been sold on Dak. He's another guy that he hasn't shown me anything. I'd tell you right now, I'd rather have I'd rather have Jared Goff as Dak Prescott. And if you tell me I got one drive, 2 minutes, win the game, Am I going to put the ball in Dak Prescott or Jared Goff's hands? I'm going to put it in Jared Goff's hands.
Yep, me too. With this
I don't
lineup,
care who the weapons are on
absolutely.
the outside. With either team.
Yep.
You give them either one of them the set of weapons that either one of them's got, and I'll take Jared Goff over Dak Prescott all day long.
I'm going to tell you right now what Jerry Jones is thinking. He's thinking every week, seeing Dak Prescott's sorry-ass performance offensively. I wish Tony Romo had a team like this. Maybe he would have finally taken us to the mountaintop.
I think Romo might be one of the most underrated quarterbacks in NFL history. I know he's up there, and people talk pretty highly of him, but I don't think people realize how good Tony Romo was. He got a lot of shit for some of that stuff in the playoffs and some of the tough losses they took, but Tony Romo was a great NFL quarterback. And with a team like this, I think he could lead him to the promised land.
Yeah. I didn't like his ass because he played for the Dallas Cowboys, but Tony Romo was one of those guys that, I mean, again, just like another guy that was not supposed to be there, got his opportunity like Dak. You got to give Dak credit in that way too. He took an opportunity just like Tony Romo did, and they both made it paid. But I think Romo so far, if you compare both of them, Dak had one really good year that everybody was saying, oh, he's way better than Tony Romo. I was like, guys, Tony Romo did it for a very long time before he got hurt. So consistency was Romo. Romo had consistency year over year, regular season. He was very consistent. Dak, I've seen a really good MVP year once, rookie year, and then the next year after that. That's it. I don't know if it's the injury or everybody kind of figure him out, but you can't compare him to Tony Romo.
It's got to be rough too, day in, day out, having to see all the stuff in the media at a place like Dallas and being the guy in Dallas, and you hear all that stuff all day long too. I know people don't want to read too much into that, but I'm sorry, but these people are human beings too, man. You hear all this chirping all the time, year in, year out. It's got to weigh on you at some point. And you have a game like this. Let's see if he bounces back. He got a big game next week against the Patriots, so we'll see if he bounces back.
Let's see. I mean, they should, because they're offensively, the Patriots are, dog water. But hey, you never know what that defense can make Dallas
do. Defense is good. It'll be a good test for Dak to see. Because that's a defense. That's another top 10 defense in the league, in my opinion, with Bill Belichick having the time to prepare for him and all that stuff. Anytime you play a Bill Belichick coach defense, you better pack your lunch, man.
Listen, they're going to need their starters in the offensive line back, because if not, it's going to be more of the same. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. I agree.
This game right here, man, 0-3 Carolina. I can't believe Andy Dalton is still in the league. And every time he's getting an opportunity, he'll throw a good game or two in there, because he threw that shit 58 times, bro, 361 yards. I mean, there was a lot of garbage points there towards the end. But the Seattle Seahawks are, have rebounded after starting 0-1. And, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, kind of taking charge of that division. They're 2-1. They're trying to make the playoffs again. So, Gino doing what he does best. Kenneth Walker, back-to-back solid freaking games. Games. I like Zach Charbonnet. We're going to spend most of this time on the Seahawks in my book. Not a lot of the game, but Charbonnet, man, he looked tough. Best game as a rookie so far. Man, he's a big dude, man. He's powerful. He popped that dude. He was running angry.
He is him and Kenneth Walker both, man. They you better pack your, speaking of packing your lunch, you better pack your lunch. You're gonna come hit these two dudes, man, because they will smack you in the mouth. That's good old school football for you right there. But I think the Seahawks kind of figured it out. Had those struggles at home in week 1 against the Rams team, who is, I think, a lot better than people expected. But division game there, that division always plays kind of weird. So I can let that one slide. Go to Detroit, win the big game in overtime last week, and then come out and pretty much controlled this one throughout. Never really was in doubt. And I couldn't figure out why the line was so small. I wound up seeing through it and go ahead and take the Seahawks right there, but I couldn't figure out why it was so low. I think the Seahawks have kind of figured it out, and the Panthers are going to have problems throughout this entire year. Red Rifle steps in a tough spot and plays well. Adam Thielen, let's give credit where credit's due, man. Adam Thielen rejuvenated, man.
He is rejuvenated. That's back-to-back really big games, man. All right, for Adam Thielen. This one right here, he was probably like one of the top wide receivers. I mean, there were so many wide receivers, man, with 130-plus yards and over like 10 receptions this week with a touchdown. It was ridiculous, man.
Bro, after I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just said Adam Thielen. I watched him though play against the Saints. When I saw how involved he was in that offense, his receptions were sitting at 3.5. I went over 3.5 with plus money, and beat that thing in about the first quarter, man.
The only thing I won money this week was my pick'ems. And underdog. I played a total of I think it was 4 of them, and I won 3 out of 4 on between Sunday and Mondays. That was the only thing I won money this week. You know what I mean? Over under, but that's it, man. Everything else went down the hill because I made the wrong combinations here with
We
with
know how
some
that
of the
goes.
parlays. Yeah, you know how that is.
That's the
But yeah,
NFL
Thielen,
for you,
shout out
man.
to Thielen, man. He's been that guy that's what they got him for. They wanted a nice veteran for Bryce Young to be to kind of like help him out and kind
Yeah.
of ease him into the league. And he's been doing just that. And just the thing is that there's a big difference between Bryce Young and a veteran like Andy Dalton, who even though he's past his prime or whatever the case may be, he could still learn a lot from him from this performance he had last week because he was they competed. That's all you could ask for
Oh
that team.
yeah, oh yeah. The Red Rifle ain't still out there at 36 years old because he don't want to play, man. He still believes he's a starting quarterback in this league.
Oh, he does. He absolutely
And
does.
yeah, and steps in and fills in, does just what he was supposed to do, man. That's what you want your backup to do, to go in and just kind of give your team a chance. And they're outmatched talent wise in this thing. Everybody knows they're going to be outmatched talent wise in a lot of games they play this year, probably every single one of them. That's just part of it. When you're one of the worst teams in the league, it's part of it. They're rebuilding. They're trying to do it the right way. I think they're a little farther behind than teams like the Texans,
Yep.
and that would have surprised me at the beginning of the year because I would expect the Texans
Me
to
too.
have more of a rebuilding job to do.
Me
I
too.
think that speaks to D'Amico Ryans right there. But the Panthers, I mean, it's kind of a lost season for them, in my opinion. Anyway, I think a lot of weeks I'm going to be fading them.
I think it's all about the Panthers to make sure that Bryce Young doesn't get killed. All right.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Make sure you don't break him like they did David Carr in Houston back in the day when he had that trash offensive line. Just don't get the guy hurt really bad, catastrophically, where he's got to sit out a year, or don't get his confidence so shattered and make him so terrified back there that he's never able to play good football again. So yeah, they gotta be careful with that. That's a fine line.
Perfect. Listen, Cricket, before we move on, let me play a word from our sponsors, BetUS, where the game begins. Check out the link in the description of this video. Go ahead for click it if you want 125% sign-on bonus, one of the biggest sign-on bonuses in the business. All right, that's BetUS, where the game begins.
I've been to 56 straight home games.
I've tailgated 61 times.
I've been to 31 practices. I've collected 17 autographs.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've got one sports book.
I've got one sports book. I've got one sports book.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS and get a massive 125% bonus.
And folks, unlike me, make sure you tell Cricket because this guy gives free picks on a weekend basis, college, NFL, and trust me, man, he's good. He's good. Follow him on Twitter because trust me, you're not gonna be disappointed. All right, I this week I'm all over his shit, win or lose.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, my man.
All right, man. Moving on. Now let's talk about tailing here, bro. Let me see what the hell we got next. Hey, look at the hey, listen. That's 2 wins in a row for a tough Steeler fucking defensive team, man.
Man, what you said?
All right. Let's give credit where credit is due, bro. Everybody were like, oh, yeah, they got their asses kicked. Well, that was San Francisco in game one. All right, bro. That was San Francisco in game one. They came, look, that's two tough teams that beat back-to-back weeks. All right. With probably one of the worst offensive lines in the league as well. All right. And look, they made it work. That defense is just that damn good, bro. TJ Watts is that damn good. Alex Highsmith is that damn good. I mean, geez, bro. They played tough and they kept the Raiders at bay, regardless of a big game by Devontae Adams, who's just completely built different.
Man, that guy's. I love watching Devontae. I hated this week because he literally beat me single handedly in a couple of fantasy leagues. I don't have him in a single one. I've been on this train. I think Devontae's, he's got to be on the back of his script. Whatever, man. Devontae's still one of the best players in football right now. Just out there jogging around. Doesn't even look like he's running hard. Just jogging around, finding spots, making plays. I love watching that guy play the game. Jimmy Garoppolo's got to be in heaven because he's never had a receiver like that in his life. But the Steelers defense, you talk about Highsmith and Watt. And those guys are big and angry and get to the quarterback in a hurry. Got Garoppolo, I think he's had a concussion. They got a concussion now. They're in protocol and stuff. So, I mean, you never want to see TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith running at you, man. And then they got Minka back there. They got a good secondary. This is a good football team, man. A good defensive football team. Mike Tomlin, another one that knows his identity, knows who his team is not going to try to put too much on Kenny Pickett in that offense. Need to see more out of Najee. Jalen Warren's looking good, but they're kind of splitting those guys up more of a running back committee type thing. Najee's got the slight edge in volume right there. But neither one are really putting out any fantasy production. But Mike Tomlin knows who his team is. He's going to let his defense keep him in the games and needs just enough out of Kenny Pickett. Don't turn the ball over, and they're going to win football games.
Right now, Kenny Pickett's completion percentage is freaking out the. It's bad. It's on the floor. However, if he doesn't make mistakes, and look, think about this. This game, like you said, their identity, right? Najee carried it 19 times, and he ran rough, right? Really tough, right? He wore down a lot, the Raiders defense. Jalen Warren, had himself 8 carries, but he also has been catching the ball out of the backfield really, really effective, helping out. Some dump downs for Kenny Pickett when he's in trouble. That's kind of what they're doing right now. Of course, Pickens can get away at any time. Kyle Austin, big game here. Prior they have a lot of weapons. They know they're not offensively a freaking firecracker here, but defensively they are a big blockbuster, man. And dude, they just really, really nasty, and they know their identity. They know their identity.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, not going to ask too much out of Kenny Pickett. That offensive line for the Steelers is trash.
It is trash. It is trash.
Bad.
I think if Pickett, if he has more time to throw, I think they'll put up about 7 more points per game.
Yeah, and that's part of it, man. That guy's having to run for his life in a lot of spots. So that's the thing. They said they drafted Najee to help that running game. They should have drafted some offensive linemen because that thing is a problem for him. But the defense is going to keep him in ball games. I don't think they're going to give up more than 3 touchdowns in many spots at all year long. And Mike Tomlin knows what to do. If it ever comes down to a question of teams are close and stuff like that, I'm always going to take the Steelers because I think Mike Tomlin outcoaches about 95% of the guys he ever squares off against. I just love what that guy does.
He is, bro. He's steady, bro. He's steady year after year. There's a reason why he's one of the long reigning coaches, right? So far, with one team. I mean, he's never seen anything else.
Because that's not easy to do. It's not easy to keep the fan base and the owners and all those people happy long enough and be successful enough to be able to sustain that over the amount of time Mike Tomlin has. So that's just a testament to him, man, because it's hard to be a one tenured coach that long in the NFL.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. One thing, going back to Davante Adams. Davante Adams clearly is a wide receiver that makes quarterbacks, not the other way around. The quarterback, it's like Patrick Mahomes make other guys much, much better. Davante Adams doesn't need a Patrick Mahomes because we've seen him right now without Aaron Rodgers with 2, okay quarterbacks, not elite quarterbacks he's had same seasons as he did with, or even better. Yeah. He is just built freaking different.
He's still Davante. How many times do we see big time receivers getting quarterbacks and complain they can't be as productive? That ain't Davante. Davante can be. You go out there and throw the ball to him, man.
Yep.
That dude,
he's tough.
He does it, man.
I mean, even Jimmy said it that Davante Adams kind of defies what he's accustomed to do, right? The basics, the stuff, the high percentage. He says that he's so good that sometimes he likes to do certain things that you're not supposed to do as a quarterback because he's that damn good. He kind of pushes the limits. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what Jimmy Garoppolo was talking about the other night. They were saying, I was watching the broadcast, they were saying he was like, there's a lot of things that I had to Jimmy, let's be honest, Jimmy had never had a bunch of big time receiver. He had Debo out there, Brandon Ayuk and stuff, but he had never had a receiver like Davante.
No.
And he was like, I had to train myself for years in the league not to make certain throws like that. He's like, now I'm like a kid in a candy store because I'm like, I can do this with Davante. And he's just slinging it all over the place. And Davante comes up with about 80% of those.
Yep, that's true. And the Raiders are going to be a tough out. They got a good defense, right? The running game hasn't blown off the ground yet with Jacobs. I think when that thing clicks together, they got to surprise some teams. So they're going to be a tough out week after week.
I think they're getting too many points next week. I like the Raiders at the Chargers right there, man. Getting 5.5 points right now, 5.5 to 6. I think that's too many points in that game. It would not blow my mind to see the Raiders go win that thing.
No, you're right. You're right, especially with the way the Chargers have been playing defense. So
division game. So
absolutely, man. Man, listen. We were talking about Baker Mayfield, how great he was doing. Look, he didn't completely shit the bed this week. It's just, dude, freaking Eagles have really good defense, man.
Eagles are good, man. They got a really good offensive line. I said to my buddy Cody, I said, we were doing a little Monday night preview. I said, no way that I was high on the DeAndre Swift under on the rushing yards. It's only sitting like 37.5. He wound up going off again. I mean, he had over that, and I think his first 4 carries. This Eagles offensive line is something else, man.
It is.
That Buccaneers front 7 ain't no joke. They ain't no slouch. They've been handling their business first couple weeks. Only allowed 17 points to the Vikings, who's a pretty good offense. The Bears are the Bears, but same time, the Bucs front 7 ain't no joke, and the Eagles pushed them all over the place, man. Just opening the holes you could drive a truck through last night. And I expect this. I was high on the Eagles. I love my Bucs. I do. I think we've overperformed. I think it might be we might have already hit our peak for the season at this point, but I expected a regression. I expected Baker to take a step back.
Yep.
Expected the Eagles to give them all they want. I thought this was because some of the easiest money all weekend with them giving up less than a touchdown right here. And they came in nasty weather throughout that thing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah. Baker didn't play bad, but
no.
At the same time, Baker's not going to be that guy. Once again, one of those guys. I don't want to have to hand Baker the ball with 2 minutes to go, down less than a touchdown.
I mean, look, AJ Brown, the squeaky wheel got greased. great game. 9 receptions, 131. I think he even dropped a freaking potential touchdown there, a 6-yard TD during the victory. Mike Evans did not have as good of a game as the first 2 games, but still got a touchdown. This guy is just playing at a different level at his 10th year. 60 yards, another touchdown. It was a close game. It was kept close.
Mike could have had a much better game though. Dropped a few
Yeah.
balls. I expect
That's
him to
right.
make the plays on and stuff. So, but he could have had a better game. Still out there
That's
trying
right.
to get paid. Mike trying to get paid.
Exactly.
But we got another. The Bucks we got another tough game coming up this week. Having traveled to New Orleans, division game. New Orleans coming off after letting down up there in Green Bay. They're going to get Kamara back. We always traditionally play bad in New Orleans. So I'm pretty high on the Saints in this one again. I just think it's going to be a tough spot for us to go and bounce back right here. I just don't see it happening. But the Eagles look good, man. And I think they're 3-0, looking like one of the best teams in football. And I think they're only playing about C football for them.
Yep. Definitely, absolutely. And we'll hit the best teams in football with my top 10 power rankings right before the end of the show. Jalen still doesn't look like the same Jalen from last year, but that team is so damn good. With the running game, just like last year, they're not missing Miles Sanders because DeAndre Swift is definitely the lead back. But if you look at it, snap counts, and they were pretty much similar. If you look at I don't have the snap counts in front of me, but it was like 52-48 or something like that. Look, first game back after being hurt last week, had 14 carries as opposed to DeAndre Swift 16 carries. It's going to be one of those things where they're going to run the ball 30 times a game, and not counting Jalen Hurts' attempt as well.
Yeah.
And you know how he is, bro. You're 4-1. They have the best quarterback in the game.
I started to say you expect about 4 quarterback sneaks a game at least from those guys, and they're going to get all. I think they finally missed one the other night, but then they just lined up and did it again, and they got it. You're not going to stop them two plays in a row. If I was them, I got 3rd and less than 2, man. I'm running that QB sneak 2 plays in a row and saying stop me.
No, absolutely, 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 man, absolutely. And talking about stopping, I don't know if his pet, little pet speech, and I forgot I missed this one through my lineup. A little pet speech saying that he's going to start playing his type of football. Mr. Justin Fields here worked out well in week 3 because man, he looked worse in week 2 and week 1.
It don't matter what kind of football Justin Fields plays, man. He ain't the guy. He ain't the guy, and he's not going to you're not going to be a great NFL team with that guy as your quarterback. Not to say he's not a great athlete. Not to say he hasn't been a great football player throughout his life and all that stuff. He's not an NFL quarterback. Plain and simple. All there is to it. Some people got it. Some people don't. It's not easy to be an NFL starting quarterback. There's 32 of them in the world. So it's not an easy thing to do. Justin Fields ain't one of them. He ain't one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the world, period.
For somebody that hasn't taken the next step, in his quarterback evolution, he's actually regressed in his quarterback evolution. So usually you take a next step and you have a great year and then you regress the following year because, for you to regress, you got to move forward. Justin hasn't moved forward yet, but he's regressing. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean, dude?
No, it does. It does. Like I said, I'm not seeing Justin. We expected him to come out and be a game buster this year. Everybody was talking to no, we didn't. We didn't. I didn't. Me and Will been saying for months we didn't think this guy was the guy, but everybody was so high on this guy coming in. We even had Ryan Cannell from Sports World over there come in with us, do our Bears previews. And he's a realist Bear fan. He knows that he's not the guy. He was hoping he was going to be wrong, but he's not. Justin Fields is still bad. It's getting worse. And I don't think that this is they better hope that they go ahead and get that number 1 draft pick. They can get Caleb Williams. They can move on from this and be done with it anyway. But you ain't making the playoffs with Justin Fields your quarterback ever.
I would try to trade Justin Fields right now, man. You know what I mean? And try to put somebody else at quarterback and tank the rest of the year.
I would wait till he had a couple good games. It might be a good thing next week. He gets to play the Broncos this week, so he might light them up. But I'd wait till he had a real good game, and I'd trade while the price was high. That's for sure.
Listen, the Jets will take him.
Right. That might be the only place that he could go and actually make the team better.
Next week, the Jets will take him. All right, that's there's buyers, man. You gotta dig deep enough.
Joe Namath will go pick Justin Fields up on his own private jet to get his ass in New York.
That's right, man. And he'll take him to New York and all his old lounges and shit. You know what I'm saying? Get him BD or whatever the fuck it is.
Absolutely.
Oh man, we don't have to talk much about the damn Kansas City Chiefs, bro. Patrick Mahomes just does what he keeps doing over and over again. Again, it's a pedestrian wide receiving core, but hey, you got Travis Kelce, 2nd consecutive game, another touchdown. It's just more of the same. You could tell they're starting to feel comfortable again. Mahomes, I know the Bears have a rough defense, but that's 2 games in a row for Kansas City. And again, even though they're not as sharp as they were last year, leading all the offensive categories in the league, you still got Patrick Mahomes, who is doing Patrick Mahomes things.
I think they'll be fine. I think they're progressing at the right rate. Still got Andy Reid. They still got Pat Mahomes. Still got Travis Kelce. Still got Chris Jones. All those guys are still out there, man. And the Chiefs are going to be just fine. And it's not going to surprise me at all to see them back in their 6th straight AFC championship.
Me too. I'm with you 100%. And let's cap off the last Monday night game. The Bengals, another ugly ass game, dude. The Bengals looked. I don't want to say they look bad, but come on, man. It's for sure that Joey Buckets, man, is not looking right, man. He is. Is it smart to keep him out there? Maybe give him a game or so. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a guy. He's just such an ultimate competitor. If he can be out there and give his team, you obviously never want to start 0-3. He knew last night was one of those games where they really, really needed him out there, and just for the morale of it all. Because I heard Marcus Spears talk about it before the game. You know, when you're a defensive-minded guy and you know your guy and the quarterback is kind of questionable going into the game, well, you see him gut it out and want to go out there and play for you guys. It hypes the defense up a little bit. And they looked great last night, getting 6 or 7 sacks in that thing. So they went out inspired. They see their guy out there gutting it out. He took some hits, came up lame a couple times, limping, but gutted it out. Gritty performance. Got the job done. Didn't play a great game, but did enough to let his team win. This is more about the Rams losing this game. Down there, and they get inside the red zone or inside the 10-yard line. Maybe I know it was in the red zone 3 different times early on in that thing. Why not have to take field goals in all 3 spots? You can't trade touchdowns for field goals. You just can't do that. The offensive line for the Rams was in trouble all night long. I know they were playing with a backup tackle, and you put him up against Hendrickson. That's a tough. Tall task for a starting tackle in the NFL, put him against Hendrickson, but he was wide open all night long, kept pressure on Matthew Stafford, and just really, kind of took the Rams out of their game plan. Rams had some unlucky spots where that tip ball picked off and things like that, but it was just one of those weird games, and the Bengals did what they had to do. Never want to start 0-3 in the NFL season. They got it done. Joey Buckets gritted it out, and they're going to have another tough game this week when they travel to Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, another tough, ugly defensive game, and I think they're going to win this one too. It's going to be similar to this. Tennessee might come out with a little more fire, run the football more. But I think it's going to be kind of those things that it's a little better. Like, they've been feeding. I mean, Mixon had a good game last week, and that's what you need. You need to start getting Mixon involved, and from all facets of the game, man, tossing it to Mixon. Whether he's throwing it to him or giving him the carries, because he's still that kind of back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when his volume is high, things go well for for the Bengals. And finally, our boy Jamar Chase, which you knew he was not going to stay down for 3 games.
I like
had a really good game.
I like what they did with him. Get him involved a lot more targets. Get him involved in space. You've seen him want to put the ball in his hands. That's your best player on your team. I mean, Joe Burrow, arguably, 1A, 1B, but that's one of the best players on your team. You got to get him involved. The amount of volume he had got in the first 2 weeks was despicable. You got to get that guy involved in your offense right there. I think Joe Mixon's going to have a rough week this week. I think I'm going to bet the under on whatever running back is facing the Titans week in and week out. I just think it's going to be a tough game for him. That's the only reason why it's kind of a weird line to me. I might have to look more into it as the week goes along, kind of monitor what's going on with Joey Buckets and see how he's going to be feeling come Sunday. But this is a weird type game to me right here, because after they get the big win, they go on the road. They're less than a field goal favorite right there. The Titans play well at home, and I like that run defense. So that's going to be one of my big props this week. It's probably the under on Joe Mixon's rushing yard. Probably sitting around 50, high 40s, low 50s, something like that. But I don't see him getting more than 30, honestly.
Oh no, I don't go the over. I mean, you'll get maybe over 50 all-purpose yards if he catches a couple of footballs because of that defense, because of run defense. Talking about catching something. Let me give you the loser of the week, and I have a bonus loser of the week. And let me first. I'm gonna throw the Sly out there, but first, of course, I got to play my boy Jim Carrey.
Loser. Le who? The her.
So it was hard, right? It was between two NFL teams. I was got to put Justin Fields and the Bears there. I mean, maybe rightfully so, but come on, man. After what Miami did, 70 points, it's just ridiculous. I mean, this Denver team gave up at halftime. They were done. They gave up on the fans. They gave up on the coach. It's not looking great, and it was a complete shit show. As good of an offensive game, historic by the Dolphins. I mean, the plays that McDaniels was calling, he was even in the damn stands hanging out with fans, bro. And during the game, all right, he was taking selfies with people.
Yeah.
This is like definitely loser of the week. We're the Denver Broncos. Every single person there, not just one. Everybody deserves equal blame. And that includes Sean Payton, who I think the 3 games has lost this fucking team so far. I know I may be overreacting, but it's bad. It doesn't look great, all right, in Colorado. Mile High City is looking like really Mile High Low.
I don't think you're overreacting too much at all, man. I don't know how you can't lose the team, the fan base. I don't know how you don't lose your own confidence after something like this, man. And there ain't no excuse. You're a professional football player. You don't get the option to quit and lay down and stuff. You're getting paid millions of dollars to go out there week in, week out. You're an entertainer, man. You're not. Don't get me wrong. It was entertaining if you're a Dolphins fan. But you got to give you got to give the respect to your fans and the people that pay your salary, buying your jerseys and all that stuff. I hate it when I see any professional athlete quit any game because that's not what got you here. If you're playing a professional sport, you're an ultimate competitor. You sat there and you did everything it took to get to this level. You don't quit, man. That's I was raised that way. You don't quit, you don't lay down, and you don't look like a bitch. And that's what the Broncos look like this week. And that's just the proof's in the pudding. You don't get 70 hung on your NFL game unless you quit, and they quit.
I would have made a really fucked up analogy here. If the Denver Broncos were a soccer team in Iraq, the entire team would be probably put up for this at the end of the game.
Absolutely. They would have got to leave the stadium.
No. They would have executed every single one of them wall style. Execution style. Face the wall, guys. We're buying any team.
Yeah, these boys could not have played soccer for Pablo Escobar. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not, man. Or whatever Arab king oil tycoon that just has that for the hell of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's forcing his players to play for him. It's not like they want to play for him. That's kind of like it's
yeah.
It's
they'd be sledgehammering their feet right here.
Absolutely, 70 freaking points. That's a lot of points to give up, man. And for a professional team, that's a lot of points. This is not college.
It's inexcusable, man. It's inexcusable. There ain't nobody in Denver that should feel good about anything right now. And you want to see the rumblings get louder? Go lose to Chicago this week.
Yes,
go
that's
let
right.
Justin Fields beat you.
That's right, man. It's not Bethune Cookman against freaking Alabama. All right, this is exactly what this looked like. So
that's exactly That's a good Alabama playing MTSU or somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody from it's in Division I because they need to fill something. You know what I mean? That's what this game looked like. Yeah. Oh man,
this is a team we talked about having one of the best defenses in the league coming into the season. People have been high on this defense for a couple of years. 70 points. That's inexcusable, man.
That's inexcusable. Their defense have not looked the same as last year.
No.
That defense really
they didn't give up. They probably didn't give up 70 points before the bye week started last year.
Yep, absolutely. I think it was through 5 games and didn't give up 70 points.
Yeah,
that's bad, man. I mean, shout out to the Dolphins. They are probably one of the most fun team offensively to watch right now. Definitely the AFC is there to lose. Big test next week, and that's gonna be one of the highest probably watch games. This week. And you know what? If it's anything like it was last season, remember the last game where the Dolphins came back on them? The difference is it's going to be in Buffalo this time, so they're advantage to the Bills in regards to the weather and the conditions of the stadium. You know what I mean? From all that heat.
The Dolphins are this week's Colorado Buffaloes for sure.
Yes, absolutely, man. Right there with the primetime McDaniels, bro, who's right now is living the dream.
No shit, man. Hey, primetime McDaniels. I love that guy, man.
Man, he's something else. That kid is something else, man. You could tell he's having a blast.
Hell of a coach. Coach.
He is. And talk about let's dive in, man. Let's dive in on the power rank. These are my power rankings today, and I told you I was gonna jinx the fucking Dallas Cow bitches, bro. All right, I slid them down all the way from number 1 last week to number 8, where they should be. All right, definitely. Look, I know I'm gonna get some heat for this because the Dolphins are number 3 instead of number 1 or number 2, but the 49ers are the team to beat. They're the best all-around team. All right, they could do it from both sides of the ball. They need to be number 1. Pick your freaking poison with this team. All right, because one guy goes out, you have another one that takes over. So it's to me, they're the clear number 1. Got the Eagles there because they play some tough teams and they battled. I give them credit for that. I don't know. You could switch 2 for 3 if you want to. Dolphins are number 3. I got the Chiefs at number 4. Bills are number 5. 2 wins in a row, just like the Chiefs. Listen, I know there's a sneak. I'll throw the Lions in there. Throw the Lions in there. They like it. They playing good football. Ravens lost, so I slid them down. The Cow bitches are definitely number 8. Look, I sneaked the Steelers in there and the Colts. I give them props. Look, the Colts are what? They play tough football. They won 2 in a row. And then you got the Steelers doing the same thing, playing really good, solid football. And I throw the Colts in there at number 10. Yeah, there's other teams you can probably throw there. But I throw the Colts in there because they were not playing with a starting quarterback, right? Their starting quarterback went out like in the first quarter of the last game, and they played almost 2 entirely games with a backup quarterback against really good teams. So beating the Jags says a lot in my book.
I like it. I like it. I do. One team maybe that I could plug in there at the back end of the list. Maybe the Saints. just because they were up 70-0 on the road in that
Yep.
game. They wind up losing. They could very well be sitting there 3-0.
Yep.
And so yeah, no, I like the Saints. I think that they're going to be all right too. But yeah, I don't have a problem with the Colts and Steelers being in there, man. I like they say two teams that know their identity, know their defensive minded football teams. Not going to ask too much from the quarterback. I like what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good. I mean it's week 3, man. Week 3, it's a pain in the ass to pick power rankings.
It's tough to do
early in the week.
power. It makes you give a whole lot more respect for those guys working for ESPN and stuff that are usually pretty solid, pretty accurate. Year in and year out, having to do that stuff all year long, week in and week out. But yeah, it's tough to do right now early on in the season with so many question marks.
I mean, right now I'm usually like throw a dart on analytics, right? Throw a dart at the analytics, see which one sticks.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's probably a higher percentage play than most.
Yeah, there we go, man. Oh man, listen, before we close this out, I got another loser of the week. All right. And this is not football related. I just got to get this off my chest.
Loser. Le who? The her.
My other loser of the week is definitely my New York Yankees. Okay. It's embarrassing. The fact that they missed the playoffs for the first time since 2016. It's unacceptable with a $270 million, $70 million plus team salary. All right. One of the best pitchers in the game. They paid a ton of money to a judge. They are disrespecting, all right, George Steinbrenner, the boss. He's rolling in his grave right now with how shitty his kids are running this team with Cashman, who actually George hired and put him in fame. He's the reason why he's there. And, won of those championships with us. Dude, this needs to stop. Next year, it is gutting time. Boone has to go. Cashman has to go. His kid's got to fucking grow a pair. Let's get back to basics. We have a lot of young talent. Let's spend the money in the right places. All of a sudden, they're scared to spend money and scared of the luxury tax. Well, if you spend it right, you spend it right. But they're my losers of the week.
That's the thing. Yeah, you quit spending all that money on bad players. You wouldn't have to worry about that luxury tax, man.
And that's what we did pretty much. You know what I mean? At least without the Mets.
Yeah. That's true.
The Mets spent 358. That makes me feel a little bit better.
It could always be worse. But yeah, for Yankees fans though, it feels pretty rough, man. Y'all are supposed to be in the talk every year, and it's kind of let the wheels fall off midway through the season. I know they had to play a lot of the season without Aaron Judge and all that, but once again, it's kind of inexcusable for a team with a payroll like that.
Yeah. With 270, you expect that when Judge is out, you can carry you can carry the team, all right, and stay in contention. But we were like out of contention as soon as June hit.
Yeah, so. And you should be able to. When you're paying that many guys that much money, even when your star goes down, you ought to have some plug and play guys there that can get it done until he can get back. And I didn't see a lot. You saw the life come out of this team early on, about early July, right after the All-Star break. The life was already gone out of this team, man. And they just they're another one that's kind of laid down.
Yep, absolutely. They gave up. They gave up on their fans. They gave up on the city. They gave up on their team. They gave up on everybody. It's not the way Yankee baseball everybody's been accustomed to. I know we haven't won since the last we got 2009. The GOAT Derek Jeter. He's not there anymore to give that leadership. But listen, we need to do it. This year is a crossroads year when it comes to free agency and what we're going to do, but we got to dump some salary and pick up some good players. I mean, we cannot go soft. It is time. It is time. We've been doing the same crap over and over again, and it hasn't worked out. That's the definition of insanity, what the Yankees have been doing for the last 7 or 8 years. It hasn't worked.
I agree with you, man. I do agree. And you've lived right in the heart of that stuff. You've seen it all firsthand. So you know what it's like. Angry Yankee fans are not nothing to deal with, man.
Oh, it sucks, man. I grew up watching. I grew up in my 20s, man. These guys were winning constantly. Before when I in my teens, I saw them suck. So it's one of those things you get accustomed. And then, of course, even if they haven't won a World Series in 09, every year we go to the playoffs or we go to the conference championship or whatever the case may be. But still, though, man, this is
you at least got to sweat usually.
Yeah, exactly. Even if we get swept in the first round, but in the wild card or whatever, but we make it. That's the thing. We fucking make playoffs, bro. We make the postseason, man.
You're at least usually in that thing.
Absolutely, brother. Oh, forget the Yankees. Forget anything else, man. Hey, tell us what you got going on, man. Tell them where can our audience find you? The usual. Go ahead, man.
Oh, man, for the best value in sports handicap, come over and check us out at sportspicks.locals.com. We got the great Robert Barnes providing his official picks. Big 7-0 in his 5% plays this year. It is the best value in sports handicapping. You get over 1,000 picks annually. Winds up being about 50 cents per pick. Every other sports handicapping site going to charge you about $10 per pick on that. So you got a great value there, got a great community. You can interact, put your own videos, your own posts up. We'll interact with you, get back, let you know how we feel about it. But come check us out, man. Sportspicks.locals.com, where we turn the odds in your favor.
Don't sleep on that, guys.
I got a little choked up early on there, man. I did. I had to get it out of my throat. So,
hey, man, when you have a good week, you got the right to do that, bro. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, you have a good week, man. You let the results speak for themselves.
Oh man, hey man, brother, I appreciate you coming on for another week, man. We slay this. I think next week we're gonna start shortening down the NFL takes because we're getting to the point that we just we got to focus on better storylines because we're getting to like toilet water teams right now, and I think one of those is gonna be the fucking Bears.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll be able to dial it down a little bit. We'll have, I don't know, maybe we'll have more things to say about those other teams. But
that's true.
Yeah, man,
That's true.
I'm here. I love doing this show. I enjoy this one, man. It's a lot of fun each week.
Appreciate you, my man. Thanks for joining on again. We will see you next week, though. All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, your boy E-Man signing out with. Go ahead, Cricket.
Cricket, am I supposed to say something there?
Bro, say signing out too, bro. Because say something.
Sign it out too, bro. I'll see you.
This is your boy E-Man from the Average Joe signing out with my man
Cricket. I'll see y'all.
Peace.
Yo!